I need my husband to agree to moving to another city because I have feelings for Bill, my F39 husband M50 of 11 years, and his sister F41 are very close. We meet her and her husband Bill M40 all the time. Sunday dinner is always with them at our or their place. Occasionally other family members join us from my or my husband's side of the family, but the constant is us four and Sill's 3 children. I get along very well with Sill and Bill. We never had issues. I started having feelings for Bill about 5 years ago. I know people here would call it emotional affair, but it wasn't yet. I kept it very secret and nobody noticed. I love my husband very much and I don't want to ruin our beautiful marriage. We are awesome together and our bond is strong. My feelings for Bill were very confusing at first and I went years without realizing what they were because I love my husband, so how can I love another? When Bill turned 40, they had a big party and I stayed after to clean because Sill had to take care of the children, so it was me and Bill cleaning. He was still a bit tipsy and he told Method he's been in love with me since I married my husband. I was shocked. He has always been nice to me and complimented me, but I never felt anything more. I tried to ignore him, so he said it again. I told him to go to bed. He tried to argue, but I insisted that he went to bed and let me clean by myself. He probably knows that I love him too because of something he said. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we stopped pretending and just told them we only live once? How did he know? I cried for weeks afterwards, and when my husband saw that, I was sad. He was very concerned and was so nice to me, and it made me cry even more. The guilt is physically painful. I have developed ulcers. This happened last summer, and ever since I've tried to avoid seeing Sill and Bill. With how frequent we met before, there was never one good excuse. Soon my husband was irritated with me, accusing me of not liking his family. Sill called a few times to wonder. Now she has started saying that I wanted to come between her and her brother because I never liked their closeness. I go to the dinners and ignore Bill altogether, and Sill is mad that it feels like I hate her when I actually love her like a sister. My husband got a new job offer, a city that's 20 hours away. I want him to take it, but it's in a very small town, and he is surprised that I, a renowned city girl, want to move to a small town. I don't know what to do. I want my husband to take this job, but I don't know how to convince him. Bill texted me begging not to do it, and he promised not to bother me again, but just not to move away. TT doesn't sit well with me. As long as it was one-sided, it felt less serious. But now it feels like an emotional affair, and I don't want to be in it. What can I do? Update. Now my Sill and Bill are separating. My husband is hesitant about taking the new job in the new city. I honestly didn't expect to be so judged and hated. I read my post over and over again, trying to understand where there could have been any misunderstanding about me being interested in acting on my feelings. There was none, so I guess people just wanted to judge, which is sad because I have seen how people can be supportive in here. Anyhow, I stumbled upon a few kind souls that didn't treat me like I was disgusting human garbage, so I'm here again with an update because my life just got more complicated and I'm so desperate. Those who read my first post know that I haven't talked to anybody about this. I want to stress the point that I have never once contemplated acting on my feelings toward Bill, not even when he confessed that he had feelings for me. On the contrary, when he told me that he was in love with me, I was more adamant to do everything in my power to forget him. I have never spoken or looked his way since that confession, and I'm not planning to ever speak to him again either. After my post, I had a talk again to my husband about the job in the little town. I told him that I wanted the new adventure, especially when it came with a 25% increase in his salary and a higher-up position. My husband has been complaining about how he isn't advancing in his career in our city. I told him that this could be the step he needed. I'm a nurse, and I could easily find jobs anywhere. We went because we have a shortage in healthcare staff everywhere. The idea started to grow on him. He was skeptical because of the distance to our families, but he was intrigued. He booked a job interview that is supposed to happen on Wednesday. If he took the job, we would be relocating around New Year. I was so hopeful that I could finally breathe. Today is Sunday, and it was, per usual, the day we meet up with family for dinner. This did happen this week, however, and I'm spending this Sunday alone. My husband is staying with Sil, because earlier this week Bill broke the news to her that he wanted a divorce. Sil is beside herself with shock, and my husband is there to try and mediate between her and her husband. Bill is refusing to talk to any of them and has only been there twice to see the kids. My husband told me now that he couldn't take this job because he needed to stay here and support his sister. I understand where he is coming from, but for me, all the horror and anxiety is back. What can I do? I feel trapped, like the walls are closing in around me. I can't tell my husband my true reasons. I have tried so many times, but I just can't do it. I love him so much, and I know him very well. He will be hurt and devastated. We have had issues throughout our marriage, with him not being able to preform due to health problems, and we haven't had sex in over 8 years. He is so self-conscious about. I just can't hurt him about something like this. I think my options now are to stay put and support my husband and Sil. If Bill and Sil can save their marriage in any way, then maybe my husband could find a new job opportunity in another city in the future and agree to move. If they divorce, then I won't be seeing Bill anymore. Update: I'm leaving my husband, and I know that I'm being a horrible, selfish person for it. I don't know how I feel about this. It is probably too early for me to do this horrible thing when my Sil just got separated, but I don't see any improvement in the horizon. When my husband told me he was not taking the job up north because of Sil's marital problems, I understood that and was supportive. We have always been close to my Sil, and my husband loves his sister and her children. I always admired their bond because I was never this close to my family. He stopped spending weekends with me and instead staying with Sil and the children, and even several days a week. When he doesn't even text me after work that he was spending the evening with the children, I didn't mind it because this is all new and Sil isn't coping well after the separation. I told my husband that I missed him though, and that I wanted to be with him and maybe I should tag along some days. He said that I was being selfish for wanting the attention now. His sister needed the support. I should be more understanding. She and Bill have been together since they were very young, and she wasn't adjusting well with these new changes. I felt horrible and so selfish. I thought that I should be supportive. I asked him why, and he said that she didn't want to be around happy couples right now. It was all I could do to hold back my tears. Every Christmas on Boxing Day, my husband and I travel to somewhere warm and spend 2-3 weeks. It has been our tradition since we met. We booked this trip months early April. Yesterday, when I was talking about our trip, my husband was so surprised. He said that he was actually astonished that I thought that we would just go on with our plans when Sil's life is turned upside down. I told him that this was our thing and that his sister has her own family. I wanted my family. I told him that I fully understood that she needs his support, but that I've been very lonely lately. He told me to drop the subject. Today I chatted with the traveling agency to see if I could add my Sil and her children. I thought that maybe it would be a good change of climate. Well, they would have to take a separate flight, but other than that it was possible even with such short notice to add them, so I called my husband to tell him the news. He was very excited. When he came home later, he told me that his sister didn't agree, however, so we are staying. When my husband got that job offer in the small town up north, I started browsing job opportunities and I sent my CV around. One hospital answered me a week ago. I think I want to take the job. After what happened today, I just logged in and made an appointment for a job interview. I know that my Sil is hurting and that my husband is admirable for being there for her. This is all just so new for everyone and a big life change for Sil and her children, but I feel like I'm no two in my own life. I feel neglected and like I have the supporting role in my own movie. I'm leaving my husband. I'm taking the new job and I will go with the plans and move to that small town and get away from everything and everyone. I think I need this new start. Judge me all you want. I know you will. Edit for update. Thank you so much, everyone. I never expected the amount of the heartwarming comments and the awards. I have been crying since yesterday reading your beautiful DMs. I felt like some of you hit the nail on many details that I have left out. And I'm astounded and even scared that some of you seem to know my innermost thoughts and fears, but then I remember that nobody who knows me in person knows any of this. I love my husband. I will probably never love anyone like I love him, but yes, I have been very unhappy for a long time. As I said, I always admired my husband for the love he has for his sister. He basically raised her because their parents were having issues, and she was left for him to raise. When he was a child himself, his warmth and compassion is what made me fall for him. But does it make sense that it is also what's making me miserable? I have always known I'm his second, but I have always thought that this will change with time. First, I thought because I'm not family, and after I became his wife, I thought because we don't have children. When Sil started having children, I felt that I was pushed down the ladder of my husband's priorities. I have told him this before, and he just told me I was being ridiculous competing with children. I remember telling him that it wasn't just that. We should be each other's priority, because even if his sister loves him, he is not her priority and never will be, because she has a family now. We never agreed on this matter. I felt like there was some truth in what he said too. I was competing with children and his sister. Besides, I thought he would be there when I needed him, except he wasn't. My mental health has been declining this year, but he wasn't as warm and compassionate as I always known him to be. The very things that made me so much in love with him. And these past months since Bill confessed his feelings, my husband never once tried to listen to me. Never once he tried to understand why I didn't want to join them for the usual Sunday dinner, and never once told me he was staying with me instead, since I obviously didn't want to go. On the contrary, it became something he was bothered about, even with my body physically reacting to my mental state. I have developed ulcers and lost crazy amounts of weight and hair. I guess him canceling the Christmas trip was just the straw. I love him, but I can't anymore. I have spoken to him today before he went to his sister. I told him that he has known for months now that I'm unhappy and that I wanted to leave this city. I told him that I couldn't do it anymore, and I apologized that I chose this very inconvenient time when his sister is suffering, but that I couldn't do it anymore. He looked at me and was silent, and the disappointment in his eyes just broke me. He said that he couldn't believe that I have no compassion whatsoever when a family member is suffering, and yet I still want to go about my life as usual. Would the world end if we skipped our tradition once when he is needed somewhere else? I started crying because I couldn't reach out to him, and yes, if simplified, he is in the right. This looks like me sulking about a trip. I told him that I couldn't do this anymore. We are talking past each other, and none of us wants to understand the other. He left. He texted me now that he never thought me to be selfish, and that if I should do what I see fit, he will not stand in my way. I don't know if he will be coming back. Update: moving to the new town after the New Year's. I have got a job in the new town. I'm going on an official interview on January 2nd. Afterwards, I start my new job as soon as I have settled in an apartment. The hospital offers rooms for rent for nurses, something I'm considering to look into. They usually offer this opportunity when they need people to start right away, and me accepting this without hesitation made me understand how done I'm with everything with my life here. I'd rather live in a small room, maybe even share it with another nurse rather than staying here. I literally feel like the walls are closing in on me here and I can't breathe. Maybe I can buy my own place eventually. Now the prices has gone down. I have told my family about my decision. I have never been close to them, and I don't think they understand my decision. I don't blame them. I haven't told them about how I've been feeling lately, but I hope in time they do when they see that I'm happier. My friend, who I've been living with the majority of these past weeks, is more understanding. My husband didn't talk to me the first weeks after I moved out. I think it's because he's been busy with Sil, but also because of anger and hurt. He called me the day before Christmas Eve, however. He was feeling lonely because Sil and the children found a last-minute trip to Egypt with Sil's best friend and her children. They're coming home before school starts again. I told him to come for Christmas dinner with my family. It was a bit confusing for my parents that he was there after I said I was separating, but I just couldn't let him be alone. He asked me if I could move back home and wait with the move until he is ready so we both could move. Also, we should go on our annual trip because it was a waste throwing $8,000 away. Now you think it's a waste? I told him that I had given away the trip to my friend who took me in these past few weeks. He admitted that we had problems and that we needed help. I felt like he was genuinely sad and desperate to make it work between us, but to be honest, I don't think I want that anymore. I feel like that ship has sailed. At least I need to be alone for a while before deciding if I wanted to be married to him anymore. I told him that I wanted separation and work from there. He was crying the whole time and so was I, but I stood by my decision. He texted me later that he's always loved me. I'm the love of his life and that he will do anything to make me happy again, even if it meant letting me go. I feel excited for the new chapter, but there's a lot of pain in my heart at the same time. I love my husband and I'm so scared that I'm making a big mistake. Maybe I will never find love again. Can I live without feeling loved if I love myself well enough? Update: January in my new town. Hi everyone. I'm happy that you still remember me and still ask about me. I have decided to never update on the big sub anymore. It gives me more control to block abusive users that are spreading untruths about me. I can't believe that my story got so big. I hope you have had good holidays and New Year. I will not wish you a Happy New Year because I think, like Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm, that you can't say Happy New Year after the 7th of January. Haha. I love my new town. I have noticed that my health is improving rapidly. I'm not losing hair as much and I haven't lost any weight either. My ulcers are still a big nuisance, but I'm getting treatment. My husband and I has decided for separation. I have adamantly refused that he moved here with me and he was very angry at first, but he knew that now I could just stop talking to him completely if he is being disrespectful or trying to pressure me in any way. So he is trying not to upset me. I know it in my heart's heart that I don't want to be with him anymore. I miss him, yes, and it breaks my heart that he is hurt, but I feel so much more freedom and happiness that I haven't in years. That could cry when I think of how much better off I'm now. I told him the truth, but he still insists that trial separation is a good start. I don't know. I dream about sex and how much I have missed it. Only now I realize how much I need it in my life. I still have feelings for Bill and I fantasize about him a lot, so I'm so relieved that he is so far away. Out of sight, out of mind, or that's at least what I'm hoping for. He called me a week after I moved here too. Wished me Happy New Year and said he was sorry that my marriage was ending. He apologized if he had any part in it. I denied it. More lies, but I have decided to bury this whole thing down in my heart. My heart is nobody's business but mine, and these feelings are my innermost, private feelings that nobody is entitled to. He was so kind and gentle, however, and I cried during the whole phone call and even more afterwards. He seemed to be more optimistic, happy about his future too. On that phone call, he talked more than I ever heard him talk in all these years I've known him combined, and there was something else in his voice that I couldn't put my finger on, but that gave me happiness. He never brought up his confession or his apology afterwards. Probably he didn't want to make things awkward, and I'm thankful for that. I want to start dating again. It is too soon now, I know, and I need time for myself to enjoy singlehood, but I can see myself dating again, loving and being loved, and what's more, that makes me excited, feel lusted after. A great thing to feel again. If anything else happens, I will update you. My virtual support. You don't know how important it was for me to be able to discuss my most private emotions with people I don't know. Thank you for your time. Update: I have signed the divorce papers. Hi again. I hope everything is well with you. I'm doing fine. I will get my own apartment in June. Right now I live in a nurse housing near the hospital, if that is the right term. I'm having great time. I made a few friends and I'm taking up yoga and violin classes. My husband visited me once unannounced and I didn't appreciate it, to be honest. He stayed the whole weekend. This was 2 weeks ago. He had a falling out with his sister because she was angry that he insinuated that she was the reason her husband left her. I totally disagree with my husband. Nobody is the reason why somebody leaves. Life is hard enough as it is without us blaming each other for why it is this hard. People fall out of love and it is no specific person's fault, and if anybody It was my fault, but anyway, Sil doesn't speak to my husband now. I felt so sorry for him, but I know they love each other and will reconcile. As for us, I realized that waiting for my husband to come to terms with our separation wasn't ideal. I have made more progress than him because he is still in the we can work through this phase. I told him that I wasn't going back to him, and still he thought all I needed is time. I told him that I was filing for divorce and he didn't take me seriously. I signed and sent him the papers. This was last Monday. He has not contacted me yet, but I received notification that he got the papers. He can drag the divorce for a couple of years tops if he refuses to sign. When he was here visiting, I realized that I didn't have any romantic feelings nor attraction to him anymore. Maybe I haven't had in years really, but I still love him more than any human on this earth. Does this make any sense? Do you feel this way? I saved this for last, but I have been talking on Hinge to someone. I am not looking for anything serious. I don't want to be in a relationship for a very long time. This man is also in a somewhat similar situation, newly separated and isn't looking. I met him on Wednesday and we didn't even make it to dinner. It felt so weird, but God, it was so amazing to be touched for the first time in so many years by someone who desired me. It was all I could do to hold back tears while he was kissing me and moaning in my ear. I didn't know I had it in me to make a man hard and want me. How weird is that? Thankfully, he didn't find it weird at all. On the contrary, he said the idea of being my first, after so many years, turned him on very much. I was nervous that he would find me disgusting and inadequate. I'm meeting him this weekend. All weekend, I don't want to do anything but have sex, haha. I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, finally.